So today is going to be pretty interesting. I think if there's any meaningful episode that is like that you can do something about next, right? I think today is one of those, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So today is really a very interesting time, because the market just went up over the last 1 month. We are in this very great position, and we have been like the prophets of doom, keep telling everyone that things are gonna be bad. So it's not any that further away.
So much so that everyone got no IC on the market. They just go to Billie Eilish concert tonight.
So we are saying that tonight maybe not many people because all go Billie Eilish concert.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So do us a favor, if you are first time in this channel, do like and subscribe. To our channel, and also share this with your friends. Now, one thing, for those of you who are new to our channel, I would just like to share with you guys that we actually have a podcast on Spotify called The Real Money Show. Yep. And whatever it is, every week, we will actually upload our live on this Thursday night to next Monday morning. So if you miss out on it or you have any questions, don't hesitate to go over to Spotify and listen to it throughout the week, right? Yeah, on your way to work, or whatsoever. Now, I think there's one thing that I also want to share with you guys, right? Despite the fact that market looks quite interesting right now, whatever it is, some of you will be thinking about buying into US stock. If that is something that you are considering and you want to prepare yourself, I think this is probably the best time that you apply for an interactive account, right? Interactive broker's account. Why? Because if the market really drop kao lat, then it's probably the best time for you to actually enter the market next already, right? And it takes a while for you to get an interactive broker approved. So if you are looking for a broker, go and check out Interactive Broker and just click the link there. And then apply for an account. That's about it in terms of advertising.
Actually, they don't even pay us any marketing dollar to do it.
Anyway, okay, so today's topic is gonna be about
a second
wave of bear market coming.
Oh yeah.
So what do you guys think? Do you think second wave of bear market is actually coming? Yes or no? Right. Later we'll also answer the question. I know some of you are asking which broker should I use, Momo or Webull, that kind of stuff. Personally, I would say Interactive Broker, but the reason being is because you can buy fractional share. That's the main reason. Because fractional share means you don't have to buy one whole unit of share, but you can buy just a portion of it with $50 USD or something like that. Because US shares is quite expensive. Anyway, let's not divert the topic. Let us go back into tonight's thing, right? So tonight, over the past few days, we've read some interesting data and stuff like that. I think one of the things that you brought to the attention, was UK's inflation. Frankie, what do you want to say about that, man?
Correct. So UK has reported their inflation number. Oh wow, double digit, 10.1% inflation in the month of July. That is the highest in 40 years, despite 6 consecutive interest rate hike in the UK. This is not the worst news yet. The worst news is that a lot of economists are predicting that by October, UK inflation can hit as high as 13%.
13%? What kind of idea is that when we talk about 13%?
Okay, 13% is the headline inflation, So you haven't break down what contributes to the 13%. So the article that I read also mentioned that actually the biggest chunk of contributor to the inflation today in the UK, 2 categories. One is energy, obviously because now Ukraine and Russia is they are fighting. So there's a huge disruption in terms of gas delivery to the Europe zone. So Europe has a shortage of oil and gas currently, and therefore oil and gas prices in Europe shot up. So correct. And because of that as well, Ukraine is more like an agricultural hub for the Europe. You know, they plant corn and stuff like that. Wheat and, yeah, correct. So these things are famous for making beer and your oats, bread and whatnot. So food inflation also becomes a very big contributor to UK inflation. So these two categories are the killer.
Yeah. And you have to think about it, right? When you talk about headline inflation, just like Malaysia, our Malaysia recorded inflation is 2 point something. But the moment you walk out and you got makan in a restaurant, my goodness, it's not 2%, man.
Yeah. We should come up with teh tarik index. I think that is more accurate because everybody drinks.
Yeah.
Everybody can accept teh tarik, and teh tarik is like a commodity because your teh tarik cannot be another person's teh tarik one. It's the same one, right? It's just like Big Mac index.
Yeah, actually, we should do that.
Right?
Like
we should do a
teh tarik index
for Malaysia, right?
And then a roti chana index, something like that, right?
Yeah. It makes more sense.
It makes sense to Malaysians, right? Because so you're thinking about it, right? If let's say you're in the UK right now, probably on a real life basis, your prices actually gone up by about 20% probably. Yeah, and it's really, really, really bad. This is crazy, yo. And despite the fact that government is increasing interest rate. So what is wrong? How can it be that you keep increasing interest rate, but things are not falling in prices?
Well, under normal economic condition, yes, it will work. You know, you increase the interest rate, people don't want to spend, they save money in the bank. Okay, then the businesses will be like kanchong, like, why nobody come and spend in my store? Maybe I should lower my price. So that will help to bring inflation down. But this time round is very interesting because apart from the situation, the economic situation that we are facing, it's also because of the war and the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yep.
So while you are trying to ask people not to spend so much, but your supply, your raw material keep increasing in prices. So as a business, I got no choice. Even though people are not coming to buy my goods, I still have to increase price because my cost has become higher.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So that's actually a very, very huge problem. It looks like the fact is that things are going to continue increasing in price. Yeah, and quantitative tightening is not yet ending. Yeah, and although this month it seems like things are going to look good. Yeah, and ever since US passed that inflation reduction bill, you know, that one, and also recording a slightly lower percentage. Yeah, people went hype all over it, but there is actually a huge big question because all over the world things are still going up in price. Things are still happening, you know. But
do you know what's interesting today? Despite all this inflation going crazy and whatnot.
All right, what's that?
Is that Turkey today decided to cut interest rate. Despite their inflation is at 80%. Headline inflation 80%, and today they cut interest rate not by a bit, by 1%, from 14% to 13%. So immediately their currency lira depreciated by close to 1%. Just now I checked.
Oh wow, wow! I was just looking at it, right? China is also thinking about cutting interest rate now.
Oh yeah.
China actually cut interest rate, and I was just thinking of myself in terms of the economic logic behind things, right? If you actually look at the rate that things are happening right now, shouldn't it that when the market is bad, government give quantitative easing? Am I right?
True.
Yeah. So actually, this kind of time is the best time to give quantitative easing to boost the market, right? But previously, when the market is very good, government keep giving quantitative easing. And the last power stock was when COVID happened. Yeah, and then even when the market recovered, they continue on with it, right? Yeah, that's one thing, right? And then right now, when things are bad, they are starting to tighten their belts, right? But if you actually look at countries like China, you know, people are like scolding them, you know, everything else, saying, oh, shit, this country and stuff like that, right? But one thing really interesting, right? They are in this position right now that they are reducing the interest rate in order to boost the economy. I feel like this country is actually moving more properly according to economic theories rather than
I think
normal countries.
I think right now for all the central bankers and all the economists, right, they are in a position whereby, you know, if you stay in a very rundown house, right, and then the rain is pouring and then there's leaking here, then quickly you take a cell phone tape and want to go and patch the hole, and then here leak, then the other side started to leak, then you go and patch there again, then here leak again, you go and patch the other side. So I think now they are what they are doing right now with their policies is all that kind of action only. It is just a band-aid to injury.
That's right.
They are not really fixing the problem.
That's right. Yeah, and having said that as well, I think one of the news that really catches everyone's attention over the past few days is the fact that Michael Burry actually sold everything. Yeah, if you actually pay attention to news, you pay attention to people, you will find that one thing really interesting in this. Now, currently, the market, there's a few differing views, but generally it's heading towards the same direction. So let me just share with you some things I read about Michael Burry recently, right? So many people have been criticizing Michael Burry, saying that, hey, if you don't believe that, if you say the market is going to drop, but how come you still hold a few $100 million worth of stocks, right? And in his latest filing, it shows that his company, Silent Management, actually sold off everything, almost everything, except holding on to one particular company that's only about $3 million bucks, right? And that particular company that is holding is called GEO Joe. Actually, they are a prison management company. It's called mental. Don't know what lah, but basically it's prison lah. Basically what they do is that they manages prison. For those of you who do not know, in the US, prison is actually a privatized business. In US, it's actually crazy privatizing every single damn thing, right? Even prison is privatized, so they actually get an incentive when people go jail. So it's a very weird economy in that sense, right? So and that is the only company that Michael Burry actually bought, and that tells you something about his perspective of the whole economy. He's expecting things to really go bad, and then they're going to get good business, right? Now, the rest of the company, he sold it. Previously, he was even holding Apple, where it's a put option, where it means that he's buying it to go down, right? But what happened is that he even sold all that off. Now, people are wondering, so means what? What is he doing with money? Now, the answer is very simple. The chances are he's shorting the market, because shorting the market is something that they don't have to report. But if he buy put option, he need to report. And based on data, put option is becoming more and more expensive. So that tells you more and more people are buying put option, or either less and less people are trying to sell.
Correct.
So that is also telling you something about the market there, right? Now, the truth is, when we actually look at the current recent bear, there's a lot of question. On Monday, actually, I posted up a post talking about, do you think that this is actually a dead cat bounce, right? And if you look at historically, when you look at the technical charts, almost every great recession period, there
great
will
stock
be
market crisis.
There will be a rebound. There will be a rebound, and that rebound is usually a bear trap lah. Right? It's usually a bear trap, because it's going to go further low. And based on what I can see is that if you see in the Great Depression time, the same thing happened. The market dropped significantly and then it rose up by about 50%. If you talk about the dot-com bubble as well, it's the same thing. After it dropped, then it raised up again another half. So every time the same thing will happen.
This is just natural human behavior, because when you see something solid like Apple, for example, if it were to drop like 50-60%, obviously you know that, okay lah, now is probably a good time to enter. Then you go and buy a bit, or thinking that now is the low already. Then as you buy, people start to follow, and then you come to a point, the real economic impact hits and say that, oh, it's actually not as good as we think. Then that time people really panic and then just offload everything that they have.
That's right.
That is the real bad that we might see in the future if we learn anything from the history.
Yeah, that's right. And it's really getting a bit interesting moving ahead, because there are certain facts that are pointing to it. For one, right? We know that although the last earnings season, many companies reported a pretty good result, but you can see from the tone and things that they say, they are saying that moving ahead next year, things may not be that good anymore. And we are seeing them laying off people. You are seeing that recently Google and Facebook all are giving out memo to their staff saying that you're not working. Your life is too relaxed. So we may fire you, they're coming on these kind of things already. So it's telling you one thing for sure, is that laying off is getting more and more real. And less people are going to get jobs in that sense, right? So it will actually affect the economy significantly. And with an earnings squeeze, if employment data is going to be bad and housing going to crash, all these are going to come down to a very big shitstorm.
Speaking of housing, China, What do you think about China property market?
So, for those of you who do not know, let's just give them a background about how
Okay.
China property works, right? China property works in a really, really interesting way. How they actually do things in the past, right? You have to think about it. When China first started off as a nation that opens up for trading, right? They don't have too much of resources. So what they have is actually cheap labor and a lot of land. Yeah. And being Asian as Asian, we love properties.
Yeah.
We love properties. Yeah. Somehow we have this great thinking in our mind is that properties will never die, right? Properties will probably never die, but there's also a question of
But there's a cycle.
yeah, and then
There's a
like
cycle,
will it
yeah.
shoot up like crazy and that kind of stuff, right? Now, and the problem is this, right? What they did after that is that in order for, if you actually look through at how China economy works, was this. When they decided to open up their economy, they actually gave mandates to every single, or either instruction to every single state and say that, hey, it's your responsibility to grow a state. So what happened, right, is that each mayor of the city, their KPI is GDP growth within the state. That's the thing. Now, how do you actually encourage GDP growth? The easiest way is you rent out lands. Because now you got a lot of people, so the only way is to bring manufacturing in, right? So how do you actually earn money? You rent out the land. But they got a problem one. In China, actually, people don't own any land.
Yep.
That's the rule, right? So what happened is that they amended some stuff and they made it in this way where although you don't own the land, but you are allowed to actually rent out the land. Or either allow the use of the land, right? So that's where the selling of property comes in. So they sell you the right to use. You don't actually own the land. They sell you something which is called the right to use the land, right? And from there they build properties. And when you build properties, naturally GDP, right? So they can report good GDP. That's how it works. Now, then after that, the next thing that they made it is really, really interesting here, which is let's say right now they have a land, right? And then they tell you like, hey, come and buy this place, right? But it hasn't even been built yet. Right, just like right now, Malaysia not very far, right? We also do pre-sale property. Nothing wrong with pre-sale property actually. Now, what happens is that when you go and buy a property from a developer, they haven't built it yet. They will collect money from you, and they will take this money and then build the property, right? That is the idea behind it. You take the money, you build the property. But what China did, China developers became extremely creative. They took this money, they use it
as a collateral to the government to rent more land.
To
sell more house.
So, end of the day, the money was not used to actually build the property, but rather they used to expand their business very fast. Yeah, and this is all good as long as the credit line is given to you and you got no problem. Because with more and more properties, you got bigger collateral, then you can loan more money and then build the house. Now, but greed always kicks in. And what happened is that in China, we are Asians, just like you and me. Your biggest dream is to own your own house, right? So people just keep buying and buying and buying and buying and pushing up the price until they realize that, God, this is a huge problem. And government...
I have the number actually. When I did the video for EC World Read. So in China, right, this debt has been growing until so big, right? Currently, the property sector account for 20% of China's banking system. What does that mean? It means that if the property market in China collapses, 20% of the balance sheet in the entire banking system in China will be gone.
Yep.
Yeah. So, or to put it even more bluntly, would be that perhaps China economy may drop by 20%. If the property market crash. And
so you think about it, a country's GDP actually grow by about 6% a year, like China, right? Averagely about 6%. If you say a drop of 20%, you are bringing them at least 5 years back.
Correct. Okay, like 3 years plus. 3 years plus back.
3 years plus, right? But there will always be a multiplier where the side businesses slows down and stuff like that. So it's going to drop even further. Yeah, and that is actually a huge problem that is waiting to burn in flames, And people are wondering how is this going to affect the world? Now, very simple, right? People buy into their bonds. they issue a lot of bonds. And naturally, real estate bonds is considered a safe bond.
Yeah, and this is not just Chinese problem because a lot of foreign investors also buy these bonds. It's a little bit like the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008.
Yeah,
a bit.
Reduce one layer lah.
Yeah.
Reduce one layer of a problem, which is that the credit swapping.
Correct. Credit default swap.
Credit default CDS, right? Yeah. So other than that part, basically, but it's still a huge problem, right?
Yeah.
Now, and China is such an interesting country where they are like, well, if there's a problem in my finger, I don't mind chopping off the whole palm. That's the way that they have been doing things. I think the only reason things are not, it's not like straight away jumping down the train right now, right? Is the fact that Xi Jinping is actually, China is going to have their Communist Party assembly soon, right? Yeah, their general meeting soon, which they're going to elect a new president, which naturally likelihood is going to be him. Yeah, so he is trying to keep the economy on the upbeat side. Yeah, but the problem is this, right? One thing is, you have seen for the first time, or I wouldn't say for the first time, but for the very few times, China is actually willing to bring out money to actually save this. They are actually, what they're doing, they're bailing them out. They're bailing them out with, I think, 40 billion or something like that. Yeah, which is huge amount of money, right? And at the same time, they are reducing the interest rate so that things can go on. Now, there's on the other side, China economy has been practicing this zero COVID policy, and a lot of people are suffering. And so they got no money, and then they see their house not being built. They say, screw it, I'm not going to pay.
Oh, speaking of this zero COVID policy, that day I read a news. I can't remember which city is it, but the police heard a new information that a 6-year-old kid that is suspected of COVID symptoms went to visit IKEA.
Oh, yes.
Then the police force went to raid the entire IKEA and then lock down the whole IKEA immediately. Right, then people just push their way out of IKEA from there. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Way that one.
That's China, then power. Like no time for you to go home. You gotta stay in IKEA. Luckily, IKEA got a bed. No, that's what's actually happening right now, right? When you actually look at these few things that are happening, and then foreseeing in the near future, there's going to be a credit crunch, there's going to be an earning crunch, right? Where most companies will probably report a lower earning. I would say honestly, for people who are right now in business, we can feel a lot of our clients, the way they talk and stuff like that. We can feel things are slowing down. You can really feel it. And for those of you in business, you can really feel it. Now, on the other hand, there's also something here, right? Like, I always think that during recession and during this kind of period, a lot of people are asking like, hey, what should I do? Some of you are wondering probably like, hey, so should I buy or don't buy? Should I invest or don't invest? That kind of thing. So I think today I want to kind of dive into a little bit of what can you do as a person, right? I think the first thing is this, right? Pay attention to news, but don't respond too quickly. That's for one. Yeah, you will never know what's ahead at this point. It's better to earn a little bit lesser than taking too much of risk, right? In fact, I myself actually just sold off again some of my stocks. Yeah, because previously last month when they say some stuff that entered a bit, then after that, now I'm selling stuff off again just to trade and make a little bit of money. But
fish head, people say
just to mine a bit, yeah. But now I'm selling off again, to like keep more. In fact, I'm thinking I want to even sell more, yeah, because I see the market like quite gila, better reserve some cash again and then later one shot hood the market, that kind of thing. I think that's
remember last week we said that the market now is like a trading market, so people will react to news very sensitively. So like for example, UK inflation 10.1%. Technically speaking, that's UK's problem, right? But as you can see, the whole world took that news so seriously.
That's right.
The entire world stock market just came down.
That's right. Yeah. So that's for one, right? Another thing, just to share with you guys as well. Yeah. So the other day I was reading up about the Inflation Reduction Act. So there's also this theory in the market right now that some people believe it to be like Kevin O'Leary. Yeah, he would believe it more in that way. Is that because the government already signed this thing called the Inflation Reduction Act. So it's telling you in the next few years the kind of target inflation that they are looking at. Now, including within there, you can see number one, a flat rate of corporate tax, 15%. Yeah. Number two, they also impose a 1% tax on stock buyback from company. So what is it telling you, right? When we talk about Inflation Reduction Act, number one, definitely they are trying to control the inflation by helping the companies here and there, stuff like that, make sure that they can run. But again, there's a problem because the problem is actually supply chain, not even about people speculating right now, right? Then there's the next part to it is that the 1% tax. So they are trying to tell you that even when market looks rather better or earning remains, we don't want companies to buy back their shares and in the end push up the stock price, right? So they are trying to keep the stock price at a reasonable and logical place, right?
Yep.
Now, and with that in mind, right? So Kevin O'Leary actually said that he thinks that with most institutions, what they are looking at is actually predictability. And by putting out this bill, it is predictable, Adima. So the market will kind of take that into account already and they will price it forward. So therefore, in his belief, is that the market has reached a gridlock position where it's not going to go up, it's not going to go down, it remains. Yeah. So here's where I want to ask Frankie, what are your thoughts on this? Because you were from the institutional background yourself. So what are the thoughts on this? That the market is going to hit in a gridlock because there's already this Inflation Reduction Act being passed and there's something to expect, so people already price it in.
Okay, like we always say, the stock market is an expectation of the future, right? So with all this all this inflation and what is the Fed going to do going forward, right? It is fairly easy to build your own theory of how the world will look like maybe 2 to 3 years down the road. And based on that, if the whole market thinks that it is going to be gloomy in the future, that will be pricing in today already, right? And then you look at the real market condition, the earnings season, Malaysia earnings season is going to start in about a week time. And in the US, it just finished. And based on the US earnings report, most of the companies are still doing quite well. So on one hand, your expectation of the future is gloomy. But then your corporates are telling you that, hey, actually, we are still okay. So confused. Investors are confused. So that's why I think the gridlock will come because of that. I have money, I'm supposed to sell, but if I sell today, I'm going to look stupid because earnings are good, so share price is going to go up. So what should I do with my money? So they got stuck.
Yeah, so do you think that that's quite possible to happen?
I think it is already happening.
Yeah.
So, but right now, instead of having a very flat kind of situation for stock market, everybody just react to news. So today can be up 2%, tomorrow down 2%. But yes, on a net basis, then it will neutralize out. Then it will be flat.
Yeah, it's kind of like bouncing within that range, right?
So it will be in a range bound.
Consolidating. Yeah. But there's also, like, for me, I think, yes, that can happen. But I also think that there is a problem with that idea, right? Is that it is a very fragile idea. It is kind of like saying, right, that I'm standing on this thin ice where it's enough to tahan my weight. But what if there is bad news that come up suddenly? Then it's going to crush even further, that kind of idea.
Yeah.
Like you just need one small news. Like for example, UK inflation uncontrolled.
Yeah.
Market straight away react. It went down again. Right? So it is, in my opinion, is that it's kind of like you have to assume everything is going to be status quo, then it works. Yeah. But if it doesn't, then it's going to jump down very, very, very fast. Yeah. That is the kind of feeling that I'm getting. Yeah, and so it doesn't give me the confidence to say, yeah, enter more, that kind of thing.
So now everyone is just hoping for a soft landing. So everyone know that it is going to be a landing, just that everyone hope that it is going to be a soft one and not a hard one.
Yeah. So landing has to come from top to bottom. So I guess that's why both of us actually short. Both of us actually short the market recently as well. Yeah, starting to move in that position. Now, for those who are wondering, like, why short the market, right? And people are shorting the market, are they evil and stuff like that? Actually, honestly, no. you have no emotion towards the market. It's just if the numbers are going to be up, then you go for the up one, and go down, then you go for down one. That's all. There's no emotion to talk about. No one is trying to kill a company that is shorting the company. The truth is, right? Whether the stock perform well or bad, right? The CEO is still going to be there. Company continue operating.
Right. If Apple share price is 0 today, Apple still run.
No problem. You're still going to buy Apple product, You're not killing the company, actually. So there's no emotion in it. Actually, what you want to look at in the stock market is to remove yourself from it and actually just look at stock market as a game of buy and sell, right? Yeah, so that's one thing. Now, number 2 thing is this, right? Talking about what you need to do in this kind of market. Personally, I think it's very important that during this time you start accumulating your bullets. Start saving on a monthly basis, right? Start saving on a monthly basis. Every month, your money safe. This year end, if you go bonus, save it up, man. Save it. If you can, don't spend too much, right? Save it up, accumulate position. Now, and one more thing is this, right? Talking about it is job security. I think it's very, very important that during this time you make sure you keep your job. Don't just leave, especially if you're in a good position. Yes, I know that Malaysia got many job opportunities at this point, but if you actually look at those job opportunities, not many are high-paying, good position ones.
I think before you even go there, is you have to make sure the company is solid.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So in the sense, right, what am I trying to say is that you want to keep your job now. And at the end of the day as well, I think last week we talked about it, right? That maybe someone should consider learning about business, learning entrepreneurship. Why is it so? Whether you want to start a business or you don't want to start a business, I think this is the best time that if you want to start a business, there will be a lot of opportunities. That's for one, right? And if you don't plan to start a business, there will be people who are in need of great talents. And either way, you will benefit from this position. And that's why it's very important that you learn about entrepreneurship and how does it work. So in fact, next week, we are planning to invite Wei Ming, right?
Yep.
Anyone here uses Speed Rent service, Speed Home? Anyone here uses Speed Home? Anyone knows Speed Home? If you know Speed Home, write Speed Home in the comment. Yeah, just to share with you guys, right? Speed Home is actually one of the largest, actually it is the largest property rental platform in Malaysia. I mean, since it's one of the only one as well. Yeah, but in terms of renting value, they are the highest, and their company is actually valued at about 80 million. Yeah, over the past few years until today, 80 million. And Wei Ming is actually the founder of the show, so we are going to invite him next week to actually just just share with you a little bit, chit-chat, tell you a little bit about entrepreneurship, how to start a business, how to actually build it and stuff like that. So do stay tuned to next week's episode because we'll be having Wei Ming joining us.
All right.
Yeah. So now, going back to anything you want to add on before we go back to the markets?
No, let's go back to the market.
Okay. Now, one thing I want to say, I think all the indexes, all the markets are down, right? But there's one market that you can consider as well. It's called the VIX. Frankie, you want to explain what's VIX?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. So VIX is basically the volatility index. Okay, it's called VIX. So basically what happened is that when it's an inverse chart of the S&P almost. Yeah. So what happened is at the moment the market drops, VIX is the one that earns huge money. It's kind of like a hedging tool. So many hedge funds will actually buy some sort of a VIX in this kind of time zone because when it goes down, it shoots up like crazy and really just goes up.
It tracks the volatility of the S&P index. So when you're expecting the VIX to shoot up, to be bullish, that means volatility of the S&P 500 is going to increase.
Yeah, so that is actually VIX. So that's something that you can explore as well. Pay attention to the VIX. Yeah, whether is it you want to invest in it or just paying attention to it. I think it's important indicator to pay attention to at this current point. Yeah. Now, going back to that, we also want to talk a little bit about Malaysian economy, right? Yeah, Frankie, you had something to share.
Do I?
Yeah, LCS and all like that.
That one is not about economy. That one is more about politics.
Okay, then let's go a bit into economy first. Let's talk about FDI, right?
Right.
Yeah. Do you know that Malaysia actually recorded 8.9% GDP growth in Q2?
Yeah, it's so good that CNBC interviewed Tengku Zafrul
Yeah, man.
just yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know how they come with numbers, but
No, because it's a year-on-year increase. So this second quarter means they're comparing with 2021 second quarter. We were still in a lockdown during that time. So yeah, of course that would help to boost up the number because it came from a low base.
Yeah. So it shows that Malaysia is recovering pretty well. That's what it's saying. Then there's this next thing, right? At first I was not too convinced and I feel like, let's see lah. But what news actually caught my attention is the fact that Malaysia is actually, in the last quarter, in Q1 at least, we were the most attractive foreign investment destination in Southeast Asia. So what happened is, between January to March, we actually have 27.8 billion worth of foreign direct investment into Malaysia. Now, for those of you who do not know what foreign direct investment means, it means that businesses coming in here to actually build their operations. Yeah, it's not they come here and buy stock, they come here and build operations. And this is very important. It's just like how Intel came in, how Panasonic came in, build their manufacturing plant and so on, creating job opportunities.
Gave birth to companies like Inari, Greatech and all those stuff.
That's right. So that is something very, very good. And in fact, among our, within our investment community group, some of our members are actually working in these kind of fields, right? And at least related and so on. So they've been telling us like, hey, this company is building this thing here, that thing is building this thing here. And so I even have some friends who are in the server industry. Yeah, they also tell me like, hey, a lot of things are happening. Like Amazon is actually building server in Malaysia. For those of you who don't know, yeah, AMD is also now. I think all this is fantastic. I think these are all great news, which actually surprised me. I thought it's going to be bad, right? But well, looks like we are doing not bad. Looks like we are doing really, really not bad. Now, so what am I trying to say there is this: there is a huge potential to spring into business in the near future. Yeah. So nothing to do with the stock market. Yeah, but I think it means there's a good opportunity. Now, because as all these companies put their operation here, means that there is business opportunity for communities around it. I mean, just think about it this way, right? If let's say your house, your neighborhood, you find AMD is going to build a manufacturing plant just about less than a km away, I'm pretty sure that
buy your neighbor, renovate a bit, prepare to sell it. Not sell, but rent it to the workers.
Rent it out to the workers, Or like you have a shop lot, you can open a food stall, that kind of things. Yeah, so there's a lot of added value in it. Like this is what we call multiplier effect, right? Yeah, which gives you a lot of opportunity as a Malaysian. So I want to share with you guys one thing is that beyond just looking at the stock market, at the end of the day, you want to pay attention to all these kind of things because this is what really financial literacy is. Financial literacy is not just about you know how to look at the market, you know what's going up, what's going down. In fact, you will never know no matter how smart you are. Yeah, that's why it's just how things are, right? Yeah, but it goes beyond that, is to actually understand economics, is to understand how money works in a system, right? And then using those knowledge to help yourself to grow in wealth. That is the purpose of the channel. Yeah, so that's why the thing is this. And that's why I say that in the bear market as well, it's actually a pretty good opportunity to invest. And looking at this direction, right, I was just sharing with them that I think that one of the reasons why Q1 there's many people investing in Malaysia is also because a few reasons. I think number one, Malaysian ringgit is pretty low. Yeah, in fact, we just broke through 4.47. Do you know that?
Anyways.
So sad, right? Yeah. Okay, that's a sad thing, but on the good side is that investors will find this place more attractive.
Yep.
Because when they invest in, they're going to invest in USD. That's number one, right? Now, on the other hand as well, Malaysia is uniquely placed in such a beautiful position,
Yeah, this one we learned in geography before. Form 1, Form 2.
Yeah.
We are in the trade route between the east and the west.
So Selat Malacca controlled by 3 countries only, you know.
Yeah.
Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. Yeah. And the thing is this, right? The next thing is that Malaysia also has, ever since Intel came in, is proud with a series of electronic manufacturing companies like Inari, Great Tech, you know, all these big companies, Coraza, even SF Tech, SFP, all these companies around, right? So fantastic, right? So what happened was that because of US-China trade war and now this heightened question about whether is China going to enter a war with Taiwan, everyone wants to move away from these 2 places. And the best place to move to is Malaysia.
Yeah, the place where there's the best infrastructure because we have been the Silicon Valley of Asia for, I think, 2 to 3 decades already.
Yeah. So, yeah, someone point this out, the thing that I want to actually share. Yes, basically during the 1970s and 1980s, because of cheap labor and stagflation, it draws a lot of FDI investment into Malaysia. And by 1990s, Malaysia had a bull run. Now, we are seeing an oddly similar pattern here. I'm not saying the same thing. So if, let's say, things are going to be fine, we are looking at if you can survive 10 years and you get your knowledge right, you will at least retire. Well, you know, that kind of idea that's our consolation. Yeah.
Okay.
Consolation. Yeah. So actually at this point now, Malaysia is in this position where it's pretty good. It's pretty good because I mean, to a certain extent, right? There's not too much needed to be done by a government. You are already right in that position for people to invest in you.
All the external factors are helping Malaysia to prosper.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Today we're just saying, right? I think if we gotta thank the people who built Malaysia.
Our feng shui very good 2022.
Right.
Inflation, everyone's suffering. Oh, we got palm oil, we got oil and gas. Yeah, we win. And then China is having trouble with Taiwan. Okay, you all fight, right? Your factory all come here. Never mind, we don't fight, man.
We win again.
Yeah, we win again. And then the US also want to build better relationship with this region because of their tension between China and US. Again, we win again. Yeah, so that's why all our economic numbers are very good.
That's right. So it doesn't matter whether you got like LCS problem, you know, all those kind of stuff.
No,
right?
we got chicken.
Yeah. Then it end up the country still stand very strong because there's a very strong fundamental.
Yeah. And then on top of that, because the government has been getting so much good return, right? They can afford to give us subsidies. Highest subsidies in Malaysian history, 80 billion ringgit. So therefore, we don't feel so painful compared to Turkey and other countries.
That's right. So literally, these Malaysia can still stand. You know, it's quite amazing. I was just having a conversation with Frankie right before this. We're saying that I think without all okay, my answer also is I sound like a bad person, but I'm actually quite happy. Yeah, you want to explain why?
Because I got very little ringgit.
I think we should do a whole topic, right?
Okay. Let me just share why I still need ringgit. Okay. My children education, they go to school. Obviously, I need to pay school fee and all that, right? And then I have my mortgages to pay, my financial commitment that I need to pay. Apart from that, food, transport, maybe shopping a little bit. No more already. Then the rest of my money, those that are supposed to be in investment and supposed to be for emergency funds, supposed to be for different other purposes that is not important to keep me alive, it's all in foreign currency. So that's why I say that I'm all right.
Right. Yeah. Most of our investment has been in ever since early of the year, right? Yeah. So the same as myself. But I think to a certain extent, in the perspective of a company, I'm not unhappy because our company tend to operate a lot with Malaysian clients. And once we have a US client, we are very happy because the money is bigger, right? Yeah. And on On the other hand as well, I'm happy with it because for one, I know that the reason our ringgit is not strong at this point is because we are not increasing our OPR. But I think that if we increase the OPR, we got a huge problem because all of you are going to pay a lot more in debt. Your housing, everything is going to go up significantly.
I'm actually quite thankful that Bank Negara is looking at it very carefully, not to simply increase interest rate.
Yeah. Seriously, I'm quite like, I mean, you know, we are not like, okay, I shouldn't go into that. But the point is, I'm actually quite thankful, regardless of the fact that many people feel that like Malaysia ringgit is so weak, you know, you all should do something about it. I'm just thinking of myself, you know, just look at your 2 months ago when banks send you that increase of installment for your house, that letter. Then you ask yourself this question: are you going to be happy if they're going to increase by 0.5 and then your installment goes up by 20%? I'm not going to be happy, man, especially during this time. I want to accumulate more cash to invest. Number 2, I want my things to be low. Yeah. So it's okay. You know, it's okay. I rather it be not super high at this point. Yeah. So to a certain extent, some of those stupid comments that were made, like, good ma, Malaysian ringgit low, so Singapore will come and spend ma, you know. He's not entirely wrong. Not entirely wrong, you know. Not entirely wrong. But again, this comes down to the next question, right? I think the thing about Malaysia is this. I think you will greatly benefit from this situation only if you fall into 2 categories. Yeah. Number 1, you run your own business because you decide your earnings. Like, in a certain extent, like us, right? We decide our own earnings. I mean, although we pay ourselves very low, but okay, at least the company is still mine, you know, that kind of idea, right? Yeah. So, and number 2 is if your boss is someone who's willing to share his wealth with you.
Where got people like that one?
I think nowadays more and more new businesses are willing to share the pie. More and more lah. Like the day I was talking at this restaurant, right? Say Yes in Uptown. Yeah, so we were talking about it, and yeah, she's very smart. She told me that like what she did is that she shared profit with all her staff.
Wow.
Yeah, all her staff.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, she said like that. Then they work very hard. That's why Say Yes service so good.
I used to work part-time as a waiter in Form 3. So in that setup, right, customers will pay tips on ma. So the tips will go into a tabong one. And the tabong, not to say small one, you know, each month I will get 200-300 extra one.
But unfortunately in Malaysia, the tips goes to the boss one.
No. So it's the extra tips plus the tips on the receipt. It will go to the tabong. Then the tabong will be shared.
But Malaysia actually service, you know, the service charges that we pay 10%, supposed to go to workers, you know.
Correct. Yeah, supposed to pay out like this.
But they don't. Most of them don't.
Oh, that one I don't know.
Yeah, most of them. I got asked before. Sometimes I purposely ask their staff. I say, hey, 10% you ambil. Then they're like, mana ada itu boss ambil. I say, you tahu you boleh sue kan? Yeah. Actually, you can make a complaint, by the way. Yeah. So the point that I want to make is this, right? Either way, yeah, because if a business is smart, they will know how to increase their profit. And if your boss treats you well, you can contribute your ideas to help him or her to increase their profit, and therefore somewhat of it trickle it back down to you, right? And the same thing is this, the next part is if you have your own business, you can actually make money. Now, on the other hand, I think it's also a great time to actually start freelance. Yeah, for those of you who are not thinking about like building a business, right? I think it's good to actually do your own freelance. Maybe can we put up a survey, right, to ask like, how many of you are interested to actually begin your own side hustle or business, right? And then we can get a gauge of it, right? Then see like maybe next time we can incorporate more of these topics as well.
We can invite more guests like Wei Ming to come to our show as well.
That's right. So I think why is it a good time to start freelance, right? Is actually, if you have been looking at Malaysia, and many of our Malaysia freelancer, you can go you can get overseas job. You can get a lot of overseas job. Just imagine this, if you go put all your services on Fiverr itself, right? Fiverr or Fiverr, right? You're getting paid in USD there. That's good money. Immediately you earn like 10% more than normal, do you know? Yeah, and that day I was just reading, I was watching, I was scrolling Malaysia Pay Gap, right? There's this lady, her job is simply to do transcribing for a very big stream, the biggest streaming platform, I suppose, Netflix. Yeah, to do translation. So her job is not to translate the language. Very tight timeline and everything. You know what's a money pay? 50K a month.
Dollar.
Malaysian ringgit.
Oh, Malaysian ringgit.
That's still a lot of money there.
Wow.
At least you earn more than us.
No need to go far. That day we were trying to look for editor there, right? Like a part-time editor. How much to edit one video for us?
I think editing one video comes up to about like 50 to 100 USD, depending on the quality that you're providing.
Around 500.
Yeah, so you can start with just like, making it cheap. Then you get the reviews. Once your reviews are up, then people engage you. You may end up building a whole set of business for yourself. I've known a lot of people who actually do that, who end up changing their what do you call it? Their side hustle into a full-time business. Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, Mr. Money TV was like that. Because when I first started Mr. Money TV, I was still very much full-time in insurance agents, in my own agency, right? Yeah, and then I was doing multiple stuff and so on. And then just record video. And as it picked up, then I switched full-time into Mr. Money TV. That's the... Yeah. In fact, I won't suggest you go and take up a bunch of money and then go and start business. I think you need to...
Too risky.
Yeah, you need to actually play very smart in the near future. So yeah, if you guys are interested in topics regarding entrepreneurship, how to build your side business, how to build a freelance, that kind of topic, like do us a favor, turn on your screens, just go and vote there so we get a voting. We get a rough idea of what are you looking at, because I think last week we actually did that and about 80% of you voted yes, and there was about 80 overvotes or 90 votes. So today right now we have 29 votes, not too significant but still showing us about 80%. So if all of you 100 over you can vote, then that will tell us what kind of content to talk next, because to a certain extent, if every week you talk about stocks, right, it's not every week there's something for you to take action to also.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, I can hype up stuff but
every week talk about stocks also, you'll feel bored, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I can hype up stuff, but it doesn't benefit you, I can say.
It becomes a drama.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, now, I think basically to while we let the vote run, to conclude tonight's session, right, before we go into Q&A, the thing is this. While we don't have a crystal ball, but a lot of points, a lot of facts are pointing to the direction that things could go worse. Yeah, if it doesn't go worse, it may just stay down for quite a while. Yeah, and if you think that this is the time to actually enter the market, you have to be very, very careful, because it's more of a choppy trading market. So you need to time the market very well. And if you're not the kind of person who can time the market well, then it is better off that you refrain from entering. Or, like as we say, the dumbest strategy is dollar cost averaging. But dollar cost averaging, you need a long time to see results. So for those of you who are asking this question, should you continuously dollar cost averaging? Once you pick that strategy, you continuously do it. Not
start, stop like that.
Yeah, then there's no point.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's what I think when it comes to my last words when it comes to this particular topic. Frankie, any last words that you want to share with the people before we go into Q&A?
I think history always repeats itself. That's simply because we are human, and humans tend to have the same behavior over and over again. And since the 1920s until today, we have went through probably like 5 or 6 financial crises, and every crisis show that after a very, very sharp crash, it will have a technical rebound, and after the technical rebound, usually it will follow by an even worse drop compared to the first wave. So therefore, today's topic is the second wave of bear coming. So and of course, even without looking at the technical chart and the stock market, just looking at pure economic development going forward, I don't see any positive signs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really cannot see anything positive. Even your technology development, I think probably the R&D also slow down already, because if you expect demand to be slow, then you don't need to come up with the next iPhone so quickly, right? You can take your own time to fine-tune your technology even better.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah. So all signs points downwards, in our opinion.
But very hard to say, because market is always about expectation. So if the media keeps feeding the market with positive vibe, then the expectation is good, then chances are they can manage the soft landing. So maybe economic can be like bang, like that. Everybody, 50% of people lose their job. But the news will probably say like, oh, only 50% of the people lose their job. We were expecting 80% of people lose their job. Oh, it is a good news to the market, so therefore market flat. It can be like that. It can be like that.
Yes. Yeah. Having said that as well, right? Last point. This one last minute added on, right? Is that apparently during when the Fed say that they're going to offload 40 over billion of securities, they actually did not. Yeah, they actually instead offload only like about 20 or 30 or something like that. Then after they bought another 3 million worth of mortgage-backed asset in July. So there's this question like, hey, did they just lie to everyone straight to the face right now? And this is not the first time, actually, if you look at it. I think during COVID time, they did exactly the same thing. They were saying that we are going to do this, Then everyone all responded in the market, like, wow, great news, but actually they didn't do
we
it.
want to increase interest rate already. You see, they talk for 1 year but never increase. But the market reacted every time they said something.
Yeah. So that's how the media can play about to actually control
to help control the damage. Damage control.
That's right. Yeah. Unlike last time like that. Yeah. So now media is very, very powerful. So that is the one thing. Now, let's move into a time of Q&A. If you have any questions, do write down in the comments, and me and Frankie will try our very best to answer it. So you can ask us anything tonight, man.
Oh, so far there's no question from the floor. Oh no, I got it already. What do you think about our semiconductor industry in the near future? Could it be a possible bull run due to the geopolitical crisis happening around the world?
This is a very interesting question.
Yeah. Just now we say we cannot see any positive side of things, right? Actually, if you look further, there is positive things actually, right? So, position on cake DeFi. Wait first. Okay.
Let's go back to this semiconductor industry.
Yeah.
First.
So if you look further down into the future from Malaysia perspective, right? So you have all these AMD Amazon
AMD LAM Amazon all coming up.
They are all pushing their facilities in Malaysia.
Yep,
that will help to build a even stronger ecosystem in maybe Penang or some other states in Malaysia.
That's right.
So, and that would help to push our local companies to hire more sophisticated engineers. So that will indirectly make Malaysia a slightly higher income nation.
That's right.
And with higher income nation means that your profit is also higher, and that will translate into share price. But that is the expectation that we can see. But the thing that we do not know is when this thing will happen, because we cannot predict the timeline. But if I were to put a timeline on this storyline, it will be that after this dead cat pound, so to speak, and then you will have an even stronger downturn, right? After this downturn, when the market starts to recover, this is when a lot of very interesting news is going to come. They're probably going to be like, we already have a breakthrough of 1 nanometer chip, something like that. Because they have taken so long time to do the R&D without coming up with a new product in the past. Why? Because all these resources were put to the next generation technology.
That's right.
And they have all this infrastructure and ecosystem ready in Malaysia to help to support that. That kind of technology. So I think the future is fantastic for Malaysia tech sector. It's just that we don't know when it will happen.
Yeah, I think the only thing is that hopefully they will be less dependent on just low-cost engineers, but rather focusing on innovation. I think there are a few good news when it comes to Malaysia, right? Number one is the tech sector is really receiving a lot of funds at this very moment, right? The next thing is that many of you out there probably have heard the graphene thing. Yeah, apparently graphene can be made with Malaysian dried palm oil kernel. Yeah, and that was a really exciting news because graphene is now in they are exploring to use graphene as the next semiconductor material. Yeah, and imagine if it replaces silicon or whatnot, right? And then Malaysia is the largest producer of it. Fantastic. We are going to be damn good. Yeah, provided Malaysia don't go and export all the oil kernel and then give to Singapore or something like that to make and then export back to us, import back and then make here lah. Then so the biggest question is that is Malaysia going to build a high value tech sector here, or is it going to remain as just a manufacturing arm? Yeah, that will be the big question. Now, definitely, in terms of increasing income, it's going to definitely increase a little bit, but is it going to be significant? That will be the next question to actually really ask. But just like what Frankie said, right? I think moving on ahead, when all the bad news has passed, that is when you're going to start seeing real great news on street level. Yeah. And then that is when you will, if people who got burned by the stocks already, they'll be like, say any lah, nothing's going to happen. And then that's when the cycle will continue again. Yep. So I think Malaysia, we have a great position. Yeah. And yes, one of the main reasons is because of the geopolitical and the crises that are happening around the world. So Malaysia is kind of like de-risk for them. So the next thing, position on ClickDeFi.
Okay, position only, and I don't need to explain why my position like that, right? Okay, so my position, zero DFI, at zero DFI coin, but when I say zero DFI coin doesn't mean that I am not in crypto. It's because all the DFI coin I have transfer it or swap it into DUSD to short S&P 500 and to buy Facebook and Palantir.
So basically, still in crypto, but in the form of D token to actually short the market lah. That's a position. But to interpret a question the other way is that what we think about ClickDeFi, then
they have the DUSD problem again. If you start talking, it will be another hour. So I think leave it to another day.
Maybe you should do one session.
Yeah, sure.
Any idea why Coraza price suddenly shoot up?
I think generally tech stocks now are quite bullish because taking cue from Nasdaq. So therefore, it is not just a Coraza thing; it is a tech sector thing.
Yep, and it's a rather new company, and generally new company tend to
and I like their management. You know, they are aggressive and whatnot. So chances are, you know, in this upcoming earnings report, they may come up with a very good set of results.
So is investing in Nasdaq 100 now a good idea?
I think we sort of answered this already in that.
We shared our position, which is we are shorting it, not
and we also answered from that semiconductor industry standpoint. Right?
Yeah. Why are the banks in Malaysia going up in price? They also expect to pay better dividend this quarter. What are your thoughts? It is an uptrend.
In a increasing interest rate environment, the banking sector is the biggest beneficiary. So no, that's why people buy banks. Yeah,
imagine last month you pay installment for your house 4,000. This month you're paying 4,400. Yeah, so they are definitely going to earn more. So naturally, we are expecting another rate hike. They have been prepping us already. So yeah, market is just responding accordingly. Yeah, is it advisable to DCA into leverage index ETF? Wow, it is a very, how do I say, paradoxical or it's like you're doing a low risk thing with a very high risk tool.
It's like, should I put a pair of boobs on a guy? Something like that.
Yeah, but the point is, leverage index is high risk. When you DCA into it, then you are compounding the complicatedness of being able to calculate your risk. How the hell are you going to calculate your risk? Because at every position you enter,
you increase your leverage.
Yeah. So are you? I don't think it's actually a good thing. Yeah, I don't think it's actually a good thing. Unless you got unlimited supply of funds, then yeah. Is ETF money market funds still remain a decent place before putting it into other places for now? ETF is ETF. Basically, when you invest in ETF, you are investing in the stock market. Yeah, generally, yeah, most ETF. So ETF, you think about it, right? It's just a name. It means exchange traded fund.
Yeah, it is actually a unit trust fund that your insurance agent trying to sell you every single day.
Yes.
But I can't help but to think, why you all never buy from insurance agent and then you all every day go to the market and say, I want to buy ETF, I want to. Is it actually the same thing? So I think the trick here is to really understand the fund that you want to buy and then buy the fund that really gives you the highest return.
Yes.
I think that's more important.
So ETF is mainly more passively managed, and then you can buy it on the stock market.
Yeah.
But basically, you're just buying a group of stocks, right?
Correct.
So there's like healthcare ETF, there's real estate ETF, there's whatever lah, many kind of ETF lah.
Yeah, and on the other hand, money market fund is see it as your fixed deposit, but with more flexibility. If FD say you have to lock in your money for 30 days minimum, money market fund, it can be as short as 1 day. Or if you have a lot of money, it can be within hours also. Yeah.
Yep. So based on the Fed dot plot, do you think do you think Fed will follow through with the interest rate hike, and what do you think the interest rates are by the end of 2022? Yes, my answer is yes. Yeah, that's what I think. I think they're going to follow through for sure. Yeah, they already signed that thing. Hey, they have to bring it down. Simple as that, right? It's just how aggressive are they going to be in this journey? Yeah, anything to add on that?
Yeah, and what do you think the interest rate by 2022? I have a feeling it will be 3%.
I think you increase, if let's say 0.5, 0.5. Yeah, about there.
3%.
Yeah.
3% means same as Malaysia already.
The move of the capital of Indonesia to Kalimantan, will we see significant economic improvement towards Malaysia too, especially in Sabah? I think if you talk about them moving to Kalimantan, right? I think the first question is that Kalimantan is very, very big. It's not a small state. It's a very, very big state. So the question that goes down there is that, is it going to be easy for Sabah or Sarawakians to travel to the capital of Kalimantan? Yeah. And number two, for Kalimantan to build their
Infra
and everything, is going to take time. Just think about Cyberjaya, right? And Putrajaya. We have been talking about Cyberjaya and Putrajaya since we were in primary. Was it primary?
Yeah, primary.
Primary, right? Only when you hear a friend move to Putrajaya.
Around now.
That's right. Yeah, even now it's considered like, wow, are you sure you want to move to Putrajaya like that, right? Yeah, so that's 20 years, bro. Yeah.
But maybe it's a good thing for CMS. They're the monopoly of cement.
It could be cheaper for them to send cement to...
Correct.
Yes.
Because it's the closest.
That's right. Yeah, and there's a chance that... But then there's a chance of them having a competitor for Samalaju. Samalaju, yeah. Oh,
That's their old name.
Yeah, correct. Similanjao, right? Yeah. Then they had to change it because it sounds too
obscene.
Yeah. Thoughts? What do you think about automated trading in Forex? Most of the time, scam. If let's say you're talking about those that promises you a return on a monthly basis.
To me, automated trading in anything is a scam. There's no such thing as automated.
I got algo trading one.
Unless it's algo trading. But algo trading is that the algo will listen to your instruction. So it's still your instruction. Yeah.
Thoughts on REIT in a high interest environment? Well, if the REITs is all buying with cash, then different story lah. But if the REITs need to take loan, then no lah.
No. I think let me try to answer Malcolm's question. On a high interest rate environment, right? Let's say, for example, Sunway REIT is paying you 5% dividend. But our FD rate, if Bank Negara keep increasing interest rate to, let's say, 7%, then putting money in FD is better than buying the REIT, right? So that's why I say it's bad for REIT in a rising interest rate environment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, in my final semester, final semester ending soon. So he said that he's received a job offer.
Congratulations.
Yeah, then now he's secured a job just before graduation. So I'm planning to change job after a while. When do you think is the right time to change job? When you feel like it's the right time, I got no...
If you feel that you cannot grow anymore in that environment, then you change job?
I mean, there's like that whole philosophy of like the standard answer kind of thing, right? Like you don't feel like you're growing anymore, if you think the boss is not treating you well, you feel like you've learned enough skills and now it's the time to actually go other place, that kind of like long story. But generally, I think that question is actually very subjective. But I guess since the fact that we're talking about the economic environment, maybe that is the point that you are referring to. I think that at this point, it is very important that you only go to that you only leave your job if you have a solid plan. Yeah, what do I mean by that, right? Number one, either you already have an employment, another offer from another company, that's number one, right? Number two is, I can't say that it's a bad idea for you to go and do freelance or something like that, but if you really think that you want to quit your job to pursue a business, then you better have a solid plan. That's my point there, right? So will general election trigger a second bear wave? Rumors say that September Parliament will be dissolved.
The general election will not trigger anything, but like we mentioned just now, is that if we end up with a hung parliament, that is the worst case scenario for Malaysia, because that means no political stability in Malaysia. So maybe perhaps those FDI that we already secured will say, now suddenly we got no government, then I don't know whether I still want to come or not. That can be the danger.
Yeah. If interest rate of Fed is 3%, BNM is at 3%, do you think 5 ringgit and 50 cent to USD $1 will be coming? Yeah, why not?
Anything can happen.
Yeah. CMSB, are you still holding it? No, cut loss already for me. Cut loss very long already.
Correct.
Very long cut loss already. Because, so I lost, just to share with you guys, I think I lost about 40% or something like that. Slightly about there, 40 or 40, somewhere around there. I can't remember it a long time ago, right? Now, the point is that our investment thesis for CMSB was when general election come, it will shoot up in price.
State election.
When the state election come, it will shoot up in price. But the black swan that happened was
the CFO
got whistleblown, right? Yeah, there was a whistleblowing incident, right? And immediately the share price plunged because of that. So,
and then there was a family tussle going on. You know, some people are saying that this is mine, that is mine.
That's right. Yeah. So because of that, we did not continue on with it. I just cut loss. The reason being is my investment thesis is gone already. So what's the point of staying there? So like many of you always ask this question, last time I buy this particular stock and then lost money, then I'm holding it until today. So basically they change from a short-term investor to a long-term investor. That's what they do. And I always think that that's not a very smart thing, because you are just keep changing based on situation. Yeah, it's the same like when you buy a stock and then you make money, then you tell yourself, go up so high, maybe can go up some more, then you don't sell. So you will forever stay in that thing one. You will always tell yourself don't exit. So you will never make money in the sense, Yeah. So I don't abide to that. So for me, it doesn't work my way, just cut off. Right. Thoughts on Bitcoin. So here's where we have a little bit of differing view, right?
My views still haven't changed. I still think the worst is over for Bitcoin, but whether it will go up or not, that is a different story.
Yeah. I still think that it is not safe to say that the worst is over. That's my opinion, but my strategy is to dollar cost averaging into it. That's my strategy. Do we get tax on dividend payout with US stock? We're holding tax of 30%. Yes. Yeah. So that's all about it for today. If there's no more question, anyway, it's already 9:16. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us tonight. It's really great having you guys here. It's our pleasure. And thank you very much for voting. Again, we have about close to 100 people, 97 people voted, and 76% of them say yes.
Yeah, right? And remember to tune in next week, because we're going to have Wei Ming from Speed Home to share with us how he built that wonderful business. Yes,
how he built a business from zero all the way to 80 million valuation. 80 million, all right? So if you want to hear that story and you want to inspire yourself to start a side hustle, come and join us next week. Right, see you guys. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to our Thursday Night Live. My name is Peter from Mr. Money TV.
Hey, Frankie here. Welcome back to our show.
And we have a special guest with us tonight. That is Wei Ming, the founder of Speed Home. Hello. Thank you very much for coming to the show.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me here.
Tonight it's going to be about how to build a business from 0 to 80 million. For those who are wondering why 80 million, right? Because this man here,
in a span of 7 years.
7 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tenfold his company.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and currently Speed Home is valued at 80 million ringgit. So I bet you guys want to hear his story. For those of you who are aspiring entrepreneurs, or those of you who are just thinking about starting your own business, or maybe you are wondering like, how can you build your boss's business to 80 million one day? Yeah, either way, you're going to learn something tonight. Or maybe you're seeking for employment, right? Yeah, whatever it is, we hope you're going to enjoy tonight's show. So let us begin by having Wei Ming to introduce himself very quickly. So Wei Ming, I bet some of the people here have already seen your face on billboards, right? With the Speed Home billboard, the yellow one. Yeah, for those who are wondering why he looks familiar, probably because when you pass by LDP for a pretty long time, you actually see his face there. Now, if you actually had that before, you see his face, well, please leave a comment there and say yes, so we know that. Yeah, so at least he knows the ROI.
I will be able to justify to my finance.
Exactly.
So, Wei Ming, what about you? Start by telling us about yourself. What were you doing before Speed Home?
Sure. I'm, right now Speed Home is my full-time business, right? But how did I know this is my fourth business. And how did I get into entrepreneurship? Actually, it was accidental.
Oh,
it was 17.
Accidental at 17?
What, at 17?
I got hear about people accidentally pick up a coin or money lah. I never hear about people accidentally build a business for themselves.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us the story?
Yeah, it's accidental because, back in 1998, internet was very new. And we were, 17 years old, online, chit-chat on what we call IRC back then. So we want to buy bots and, do a lot of, we have, in old days we take over channels and whatever hell. But back then there wasn't any service in Malaysia. Okay. So we just do it for ourselves. We bought some servers and all those and built something. But we turned out that, a lot of people also ask, where do you get it? Then we say, might as well we sell it all. So that was how accidental as a hobby. Then we said, let's do it for ourselves. Then people also come over and ask. That's how I started the entrepreneurship journey.
Right, and that time you were just 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I recall when we were 17, what were we doing?
No, the motivation was the same. The motivation was Kao Lui.
Yeah.
But he turned Kao Lui into a business.
Yes.
So we did the same thing.
Correct, we did the same thing, but the outcome is different.
Okay. So I want to ask, right? At the age of 17, when you started building it and then it became a business, what did your parents say? Did your parents say like, hey, Achai, you should be studying, not doing business? Was there any resistance?
I think that's why my, people say, hey, you very botak. From 17 years old, because back then our business a lot also drive from overseas because we couldn't sell locally.
Right.
Because people look at you, 17. Back then, 1999, 17 years old doing business is like, who are you, right? Tauke, So we sell a lot overseas.
Right. And so did the people who bought from you in overseas knew that you were like 17 years old or?
No. They didn't know. I mean, it's all email, right? I don't even have to meet them.
Wow.
When I try to sell locally, I fax fax my services to...
Fax your services?
Fax
my God.
Service.
I think
a lot of people don't know what fax is, right?
So the people who are listening to this probably don't know what's IRC. They didn't know the dial-up internet age.
Yes, exactly, right?
Faxing?
Yes.
What's fax, huh? Yeah. But by then you were already doing business.
Yeah.
Right? And how did the first business venture ended? Because subsequently you built a few more, right? So do you sold the business in the end or what?
Yeah, so I sold it to my partner. I sold it to my partner. Then I left to UK to pursue my degree. So I think back then when I started it, it was with a few friends, you know. And why did I say accidental again? One of my partners passed away in a car accident.
Oh, that's sad. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So then I somehow inherited the business because nobody wanted the business. So it was a group of friends that started, but I was 17 years old. I couldn't become a director or shareholder, right? So even though I'm a part of it, but I wasn't a boss. Then my partner passed away. Then I accidentally inherited it.
Right, I see. But you guys were the earlier group who started that thing,
Yes.
and running it together. But he was the director, and after he passed away, and passed it to you.
Yeah.
So when you went to UK and study, you actually sold off your business, right?
Yeah.
So compared to many of us who actually went in as a uni student, we were like dirt poor, $0 in our bank account. You actually went in with a bunch of cash. So, so you went in the university as a rich man, right? Yeah. Did you like baller in university?
Well, I mean, if people, people who actually earn money themselves, they know how hard it is to earn, actually tend not to spend.
Right. Yeah, lah, that's why
If people partying, going to
personal finance, watch more Mr. Money TV videos.
So I want to say, people who, if you can get a lot of money, easy money, you will spend your money to, color at US, then in Australia, and buy a big yacht, splashing champagne.
Right. So you didn't do any of that. So
I didn't do any of that.
Since you made your first money at 17, now I know this question is unplanned, yeah? But I was just wondering, you made your money at 17. So what do you do with that money at that age?
I invested in second business.
You invested in second business. You're like a textbook right thing to do, right? So what was your second business?
So the second business, when I sold out my first business, the second business, there were part of a portion of customer that my partner said is too expensive to afford. So he said, I give it to you, I don't want it. So I used this customer group to build my second business, where we started to do email business. So back then there was a MailChimp and all those how people send emails. So everything is about servers and you have to install software. So I built that service. So I invested some money, get someone to write some software for me, and started doing it. So at one point I was one of the largest email provider in the world.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that we didn't know.
Wow. So you were studying, but at the same time you were running a business.
Yeah.
Why were you still studying?
Good question, right?
And how was it like actually handling between business and studies? And you and as you said, you're also one of the largest email providers in the world. So I guess what you're doing is somewhat like CRM, kind of like MailChimp kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it must be very busy. How do you juggle between studies? Do you actually graduated?
So this is for whoever that's studying right now, don't follow me. I'm really bad at studying. I just hope for pass. Now, but why did I go to study? I think my dad said something very true. I didn't just pass, I got honors, right? But my dad said, and when I chose to study, I wanted to go to business. But my dad is a mechanical engineer, and for all Chinese, they want you to take over their business, right? So he said, you should go study mechanical engineer. I said, no, I don't want to take over your business. And he was saying, very logically, if you study business, you cannot be a mechanical engineer. But if you study mechanical engineering, you still can be a businessman.
Yeah. See, engineer is very good at mathematics. They calculated everything so good, so well.
So engineers are very good problem solvers.
Exactly.
Jokes aside, just now that one was a joke asking the graduated one. Sorry.
No.
But mainly the thing is, I think one thing that is definitely very good is the fact that in your university, if you have the opportunity to start your own business, I think it's actually a very good thing. Because sometimes I feel like university, that degree, right? getting an A or not doesn't determine your success in life. It is how you use that time, right? And during the time when you were in university, you actually learn to build your own business, build a network, you know, and see a lot more things, right? And I think that is, something great, you know?
Yeah, I think, something that we want to say is, I think the best time is university. You get to see things, you get to explore things, you are more mature, apart from just kaoloi. You know, I think when I was in UK, it was pretty good time. I enjoyed my time there. So I think at that time I was making quite a lot. So I started to think, what should I do with all these things? But so when I came back, you know, my dad say, don't spend on anything, save it.
Wow, your dad is a very traditional dad, right? Saving, get good education, take over family business.
And I did none of that, right? I didn't want to take over his business.
So when you came back, you had a bunch of money, right?
Yeah.
By that point, have you already sold your second business as well, or you? How do you exit your second business?
I actually it became a sunset business. So the business was giving me quite a lot. So I used it to start my third business.
Right. And that time your second business was still running.
It was still running.
Okay. So you started your third business. Your father asked you to save it, but you decided to invest again.
Yeah.
Right?
So I started my third business. End up, I spent about 2.6 million into that business, and fortunately, it got acquired. By a British company. And so then I started Takong already.
Right. Oh, okay. Before you go into Takong, so your third business, what business was it?
Well, we do something like what we call a content delivery network.
Wow, that sounds very bombastic. But what exactly it is?
Yeah. So, for example, YouTube, right? There are traffic from all over the world watching video, and if all traffic go back to a single point, then you can see a lot of traffic jam, right? So that's why a video can be stored in multiple different countries as near as possible to the user. So we build the technology. Of course, YouTube is not our customer, but we built something similar to that kind of technology.
Right. And end up it got acquired.
Yes.
So again, you exit with a bunch of money.
You can say so.
Wow. So beside us is sitting a very rich man with, who's very, very humble.
Yeah.
You see the way he talks to us, he's very humble because we're all poor. But he never looked down at us. He still comes to our show, right?
No. I think it's
our pleasure to have you today.
Our pleasure to have you today.
You all have a very good platform to teach people on personal finance, and I thought, if I can, you all invited me. I'm so glad that I can share the experience, ma.
Because we all learn, ma. And also, we wanted our audience to actually learn about business. For those who are wondering why we actually have a Weiming tonight, because I think the past few sessions, we have been talking about recession, where Malaysia is at, economy and stuff. And as you all know, our channel actually talks about managing money, investing and all. But the truth is, if you got no money, there's nothing to manage. The first thing about financial management is you need to be able to generate money.
Yep. Yeah. And last week, we also talked before how to start. The most likely and the easiest way to do it is start your own side hustle.
That's right. Yeah.
It
doesn't need to be like you straight away go out full-fledged, like straight away dump in a bunch of money and start business. You can start it accidentally, just like Weiming, right? I mean, it's not a joke, but turning a hobby into a business.
Yep.
And that's something they want to explore tonight as well, right? Yeah. So we hope tonight, for those of you who are watching, will end up learning something and hopefully inspire you to actually make more money. And then your money can be put into better use, right? Now, going back to Weiming, right? For yourself, by the time your company got acquired, so you had your first business, you sold it to your partner, okay? Achievement, right? Second business, you make good money and then it goes down. So you've tried and then a third one is got acquired. So literally you can't like try all ways of exiting a business.
Yeah.
And the last one was definitely like the most remarkable, because for every entrepreneur or startups, getting a business acquired is something that is very, that you can be really proud about. Yeah, it's sometimes I think that it's even more glamorous than, or more proud than going IPO. Because IPO is you arrange and tell people to buy, right? But getting it acquired is another professional saying that you've done such a good job. Instead of me building my own business, I'd rather buy you over. And that's like a really big proof of concept kind of thing, right? I mean, it goes beyond proving of concept. But yeah, so how did it felt when your business got acquired?
Actually, I didn't feel proud. Actually, I feel very set up. I feel hesitant in letting it go. It's like my baby, right? But of course, right now, if you ask me whether I'm proud, of course I'm proud lah. But at that moment, when people are starting to talk about it, you feel...
I can imagine that. It's like, okay, today I sell it to you. What am I going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
What am I going to do in 5 years down the road, right?
Yeah.
What if I cannot start a new business again?
Exactly.
Right? A lot of questions.
Yeah, so I think from them, they want to keep me on to continue running the business, so they employed me lah.
Oh, so after you got acquired, you actually worked for them.
Yeah.
Right. And how did you came to the decision to actually say, yes, I'm willing to let go of that business?
I think sometimes when we think about the business is that at one point you think, are we able to bring it to the next level? And because all my business have been doing, going to selling to overseas. And the business that acquired us, they have huge customer base in US and Europe. So I thought, I think this baby has a much bigger chance of succeeding if it were going to them. So I think that was the main consideration rather than any financial goals or gains or anything. It's really about how can we bring this to next level. So I think that's really what's driving the decision.
Okay, can I ask, in that disposal of business, right? Did you get all cash back, or did you get a portion of that new company as well?
I think a lot more is on the new company. We do get a cash, but a lot more is in that, because that's where we foresee that they can bring the baby to the next level, right?
Right.
So a lot of it is more on the stock side.
Right.
It's a public listed company, I suppose?
No, it's not a public listed company.
Yeah. So my question is actually, why would you want to take some cash if you know that company is able to bring the company to the next level? Like you could have gotten back a bigger chunk of money if you just say, hey, I'm going to give it to you, but all I want is 100% share.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to have a short-term view and a long-term view, right? So if you have a cash outlay right now that you can use it to splurge a little bit after you save for some time, you also want to reward yourself, you want to do that. But also know that, your future, even if it means that you could be million richer or 10 million richer, but I want to enjoy now also. Right? Maybe that time, 1 million, 2 million difference won't make a difference to me. But right now, if I have something to enjoy, it makes a lot of difference to me right now. So that's the consideration.
Oh, right. Yeah. So now we've heard all your past three business, and we know that Speed Home is your fourth business.
Yeah.
Right. Can you share with us, how did you actually started Speed Home? Like, maybe first thing, what is Speed Home to even start with?
Yeah, Speed Home is a platform to connect landlord and tenants online. So we do everything online. We manage the whole thing end to end. Unlike other common practice where you use property agent, where everything is manual. And so we basically do it end to end. So one of the most important USP that we have is that tenants don't have to pay deposit to rent a house. So in Malaysia, it's traditionally you have to pay 2+1, right? So what we do is we break this whole traditional model to become zero deposit. So then without the deposit, then a lot of owners or landlords will start asking, hey, then what am I protected of? That's where we securitize it with, we sell insurance package to the landlords. So it's much better than a deposit. So that's how we protect both, create a win-win situation through our platform. So that's what we do.
So when you're saying the owners get protected, right? Yeah, and it's better in deposit. Can you tell us a little bit of the details? Like how is an owner being protected? Because I think many people actually don't know. So I know about it, but like especially owners, right? Some of them actually still don't know about these things. And they still think that, hey, that 2 months deposit is
very important.
Very important. Yeah. So can you share with us like what this insurance provides? Yeah, in a very brief manner.
Yeah. So the insurance basically, first of all, we are talking about protecting your deposit that you have today, 2 plus 1 or 2 plus 0.5. So in the insurance, it has 2 months of rental loss. That means if the tenant runs away or bankrupt or couldn't afford to pay, left the house, insurance will pay you 2 months. That is equivalent to 2 months cash, right, of your deposit. So then there's another one, half a month of a security deposit. For us, we have 1,000 and you can upgrade to 3,000. That means at the minimum, if your rental is 2,000, insurance is going to cover utility bills up to 1,000. So in dollar to dollar basis is same.
Correct.
So what makes it additional is our accidental theft or damages to household content. That means your furniture, up to 15,000. So this is where the bonus kicks in.
15,000.
15,000. So they break your TV, they stole your TV, you claim lah.
Right. And like, I think furniture is one of the key because I myself having property and Frankie also having property, right?
A lot of wear and tear.
Correct. Yeah, I think kitchen cabinet.
Kitchen cabinet is one.
Every time tenant leave, you need to repair the kitchen
Correct.
cabinet.
TV, after 3-4 years or so, you will see some problems there as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I think the cost usually comes in the furniture repair for us.
Correct.
Yeah, and actually that's what got me really interested in Speed Home. Speed Home to actually rent out my properties. That's the thing. Oh, by the way, this is not a paid ad. It's just that for you to know what Speed Home is doing, right? Yeah, in that context. So now, going back to that, right? So what gave you the idea to start Speed Home? Because when we look at the market, right, almost every single platform out there, we talk about iProperty, Property Guru and everything else, it usually focuses on agent, right? Yeah, and you are the only one that actually, okay, maybe not the only one. Let's say Muda also has it, but yeah, you know, like you're the only one that has this insurance idea and stuff. So how do you came up with all this idea? Because it's kind of like you pluck out a thin air and you get such idea, man. How did you came up with this?
Yeah, so I think when we started, it was more of solving my own problem. So remember just now when I say I started my own business, it was I wanted to do it for my own hobby, right? So similarly for me this time, it was I just got my house in 2015. I wanted to lease out my house, and there wasn't any platform that allowed me to list other than Muda. But there's no like a iProperty that is famous, you know, and for owners, right? So I think at that time, I still went with going with the system to say I contacted 50 agents, SMS. That time no WhatsApp lah, right? So I SMS 50 agents, 10 agents responded to me that, okay, I'm open to look at your house, and only 2 came to take photos. So at that time I was like, wow, if I contact 10, maybe 1 also don't reply me, then I'm jialat already, no? Right? So that's why I was thinking, actually, I myself as an owner, or at least most of the newbie owners, they are very kanjiong about all these things. They don't know where to get help and all those things, right? So that's why at that time I was like, is there anywhere that I can empower owners to do it themselves? Doesn't mean that they have to just use us. You can also find agent, but there's an avenue that you know you can put some effort to bear some fruits. So that's how I start. I mean, in 2015, my wife, when I talk about it, just about having a platform for owners. We weren't thinking anything else apart from that, right? So that's how we started. But you say, how do we get to zero deposit? So when we started, a lot of people wrote into us and said, oh, this is fantastic. Awesome job. You're helping us. A tenant say, oh, we like to deal with owner direct, negotiate direct, blah, 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 blah. Then we started to get emails. this tenant want to rent, no, cannot afford to pay deposit now. He wants to installment. How? What do you think? Should I accept the tenant or not? They were writing in more like support lah.
Right.
Because it was just a platform to connect. We weren't doing anything. We were just connecting. So then we just say, it sounds risky lah. At that point, we think about that lah. We say, it sounds risky. So we just say, it's your choice. As a platform standard reply, say, it's your choice. But we are not liable for it lah. You know, we play very safe. Then other tenants start writing in, saya nak sewa rumah tu, tapi tak cukup lah. Macam mana? So we started to hear more and more of all these things. Then we was like, sounds like a problem to solve, right? So sometimes, you know, if you see sometimes business opportunity is problems, like solving problems, right? So when we started the platform, we didn't know how to monetize one.
So it was more like a freeware.
Yeah, and like a hobby lah. But,
like a hobby.
But investment a lot also lah. But back then it's always about, let's build a user, then you get valuation based on just pure user, nothing about revenue or anything like that, right? So you're building based on user base. So we were building just based on user base. Then that's where problems come in, people write in, then we say, hey, something to be done there.
Yeah, so I think here's where it gets really interesting, right? For many people, if let's say you look at Speed Home, maybe at the moment we thought like, wow, they started with this idea that straight away is zero deposit, right? Like most people think of that, and how, maybe you're smarter than anyone else, that's why you can think about that. But the truth is, after hearing your story, it actually was solving one problem after the other.
Yep.
Number one, it was just to connect users, and I guess to a certain extent, people will see it as like, I mean, Muda does that. They'll think about it that way. And then as further requests comes in, the way that you view these requests and think about problem solving, that's where you'll come up with it. Because to a certain extent, the very same thing, if it's given to someone else, I bet Muda also got all these requests, right? I don't think it's very far.
For sure.
Yeah, but the difference is how you handle the question.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably they got the question and it went more like, you cheese in one. So then when this happened, how did you first approach this problem? Yeah, because I understand currently right now, Allianz is providing you with this insurance. You guys have a co-product together in that sense. Yeah, but prior to that, how did you solve this problem?
So when we started, we did approach people to help us with insurance. Nobody wants to lion us lah. You know, first thing that asks, what's your volume? What's the risk profile? Blah, 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 blah.
How many users you have?
Yeah. And of course, when I say we have users, it's not like we have tons lah. You know, we have hundreds or thousands, but for insurance, it's nothing. So, so we understood that if you were to take the route that if we don't do anything and we needed revenue, sometimes is being forced.
What do you mean by being forced?
Being forced is that if you don't do it, you have no other choice. Right? You have to do it. Madulo.
Right.
I mean, there's no other choice for us, right? Because nobody wants to, takkan we just say, because nobody wants to do it, let's forget about it. So we just say, okay lah. Then we back then we were called Speed Rent. We as Speed Rent as a company, we become the guarantor for the tenants.
Right.
Wow, that must require a lot of funding behind to support this guarantor thing, right?
So we were, you know, that time was really tough discussion with a lot of owners, right? Who are you? What's your payout capital? What's your track record? So a lot of all these problems always comes, right? So some would say, this is not the right thing for me, but some would say, okay lah, I also want to help your new business. I like your entrepreneurism and all those things. So support you lah. So along the way, you will find a lot of people willingly to support all these new businesses. Right? So then we just started, right? So we didn't have a lot of money, but like I said, we didn't have a lot of choice. Jump lor. You jump, I jump lor. So we jump lor.
Jump first, see what happens later.
Say sorry, I will ask for forgiveness later, lah, right? Just go ahead. Lah.
So the thing is this, right? We understand that when you start a business, very often you need to be extremely optimistic about your idea and have full confidence, right? And just as we know, every business when you start, chances are people say that it doesn't work and so on. I bet you have a lot of fair share of that over the years, right? But how do you distinguish between a really bad idea that wouldn't work versus something that you know it will work, but you just need to be very much more optimistic and push through it? How do you actually draw that line that this is a crazy idea, delusional, versus something that will work, but you just need to be more optimistic?
So a bad idea is a bad idea. I mean, if you think a bad idea is a good idea, then it's
No, but the problem is a lot of people don't know that they are having a bad idea. They think the idea is good.
Right.
So how do you distinguish between a bad idea and something that you think it will work?
So first of all, I say something that you will work lah. So first of all, we have to look at what's happening in the macro market, what's the trend, what's happening. And some industry are more advanced than certain other industries. So for example, property is always, in terms of trendiness, is considered very old school one, right? If you talk about consumer goods purchasing, you go to Shopee already. Where got people buy property on Shopee one? So you can see there's a trend differences, right? So when you see certain things are moving on consumer market, you know that it will someday be adopted into property as well. It's just a matter of when. So sometimes, like my third business, CDN, I'm a little content delivery network that I sold. I was a little bit ahead of the time when people need this. So, of course, giving another more well-funded business would have a greater chance of succeeding. So coming back here, it's also whether you're well-timed to ride the wave. Right. So I think, in hindsight, COVID also helped a lot by accidentally, nobody expected. But so that's from a trend point of view, you see whether this trend would help, right? You talk about people start to be more IT savvy. People start to be, if you look at Airbnb, people already starting to rent their house themselves already without property agent.
That's right.
So you take